whipped cream brand. No, this is School Trip. Hi everyone, I'm Jacob, I'm the Cowhat Librarian, and I'm thrilled my hold finally came in on this one. It is the sequel to New Kid and Class Act by the very, very talented Jerry Craft. It is School Trip. As our story starts, Jordan is in an interesting place. He's attending a school, he has friends like Liam and Drew, and he hangs out with Maury and some of the others, and still has Andy as a thorn in their side, but that's another story. And there are two things interesting going on in his life. First off, he's been accepted into a prestigious art school. And it's super exciting because he wants nothing more than to be an artist, but he doesn't want to leave all his friends behind. He doesn't want to go be the new kid again when he's settled in and made such amazing friendships at his current school. The other thing that's going on is a major class trip. Their class and a bunch of teacher chaperones will be heading different places around the world. One group is heading up to Alaska, another onto a civil rights trip, and Jordan's group is heading to France. Well, someone decides to throw a wrench into the machinery and messes with the chaperone schedules. And instead of having a French teacher who was impeccably prepared for the trip, Jordan's group gets two teachers who, while very nice, are not prepared for the trip at all. In fact, their credit cards don't work while they're in France. And they barely speak any French and don't know much about the place at all. Lucky for them, however, Maury does know about France. He's been there before with his parents, and he's able to talk about his favorite restaurants, and he'll go to a restaurant and order escargot and camembert, while some of the less adventurous members of their group, like Andy, order hamburgers. And he's able to speak fluently in French and find ways around things. And because his parents are wealthy, he's able to step in and pay for things when the chaperone's credit cards don't work. And he basically ensures that they all have a good time on this trip. Well, for the most part. Alexandra isn't having a great trip because Ashley is obsessed with being friends with her and trying to show how much she understands, and that Alexandra must feel nervous about things and awkward about things, and it's a little bit cringeworthy to read. And Ashley needs to just relax. But basically they have a fun trip. Well, there are one or two things that aren't so fun. They point out to Andy throughout the trip that the things he does aren't just annoying. They're not just reacting to him based on being him. It's that he does stuff that's genuinely hurtful. And he needs to find a way to treat people better and realize what he's doing. They also talk quite a bit about race in the process. At one point, a confrontation late in the book, Drew confronts Andy about his attitude and how much privilege he actually has. And it was really compelling to read that because Andy is just sort of a head in the ground white boy who thinks that everything's fine and that America's the best place in the world and that he should be able to act the way he wants without any repercussions. It was neat. The other thing that was great is that they have sort of explanatory chapters that are just short little out of the story comic strips that explain things. So this one is the Attack of the Thumbs Downers. It's a reference to something that happens in the book where the characters give Andy a thumbs down when he's doing stuff just to be negative about things. And Jerry Craft put in something very, very funny in here because if you haven't been aware, his books have been on the most banned lists and have been challenged in a number of places in the United States in recent years, even though, as has been pointed out by many people much wiser than me, his books don't have foul language, they don't involve sex, they don't involve gender, they don't involve anything other than kids trying to fit in and realizing that their experience might be different than some of their classmates. And apparently that's enough to get them banned. So this particular one, Attack of the Thumb Downers, has a panel making fun of things that real life can be much worse, where there's a woman in front of the author saying, "You're not going to brainwash my kid with your neo-faxo-harpo-marxo agenda." And the author says in response, "Lady, my book is about my puppy." It was a very funny response to the stuff Kraft is going through, seeing his works getting challenged all over the place. And honestly, I think he showed a lot of restraint just limiting it to this. Anyway, this was fantastic. I love the byplay between the characters. They're all so distinct. And the way they play off each other and bounce off each other, and the way each of them decides they have to deal with Andy, or the way Alexander has to deal with Ashley, it's all true to life. These are real breathing characters, and it was just great. Kraft's art style is just really, really appealing and colorful. The drawings are very clear. There's never any question as to what any of the characters are thinking. His "what me worry" expressions on Andy all the time, with his tie that's always slung over his shoulder, just makes me laugh every time I look at it. He had some really, really fun call-outs to Raina Telgemeier in the last couple pages of the book, which I thought was a pretty clever way to end things. Just a tip of the hat to another talented graphic novel creator. And I liked it. It was a great travelogue, a great story about friendship and getting along with people, and I liked it. If you liked something like A First Time for Everything by Dan Santat, which I talked about a few weeks ago, you'd get a lot out of this. The two of them cover a lot of the same ground, although Santat's was written with a slightly more romantic bent and was based on his real life experiences. And School Trip is a little more fictionalized, a little more on the friendship side of things. If you liked New Kid or Class Act, obviously continue on to School Trip. And I highly recommend it. You won't be disappointed. With that said, however, there are spoilers ahead because I have to talk about the deal breaker. Okay, this is going to be overstating it a little bit. This was great, folks. And like I said, if you're a fan of Jerry Kraft's other graphic novels, please continue on to this one. Okay, here's the deal breaker. If you're the type of person who much prefers reading about one or two characters, a clear protagonist, and you aren't a fan of ensemble casts in books and graphic novels, this might be a hard sell. If you much prefer a singular hero or heroine, then this is not for you, because Kraft has a lot of characters, all of them well written and very appealing, but it means that each individual character maybe doesn't get as much page time as they would in another book. I made reference to Dan Santat's A First Time for Everything. If you like books with a clear protagonist and clear romantic lead, hey, that book's got you covered. If you like shows and movies and stories that focus on a group of people with them all getting different chances to shine and display their perspective, then this is a great choice. I recommend it. Go borrow it. Go borrow New Kid. Go borrow Class Act. Go support Jerry Kraft, because his stuff, while I'm not a fan of book bans and challenges, period, as a professional librarian, his seem to have been especially unfairly targeted. Go borrow his stuff. It's good. Now, if you use and appreciate the services offered by your public library, why not take just 1 minute and tell the powers that be exactly that? Tell your mayor, tell a council member, tell your MP or MLA that you use and support public libraries. We're at a time where some public libraries aren't receiving sustainable funding that will allow them to improve their materials services, and programs that they offer, and a few good words in the right ears might make a world of difference. If, by some chance, you're a library staff member, don't forget, watching my videos counts as professional development time. With that, thank you for listening to me talk about how great jury craft is. By all means, please like, please subscribe, and please check back to see what else I have to talk about from the Cowhat Library. Thank you. Bye now.